Hi, Stitchy friends. This is Heather, the 20-minute Stitcher. You have found my little corner of the internet where I talk about my hobby of cross stitch. This is episode number 64 of my Flosstube. My pronouns are she, her, and I am so happy that you chose to click on my video and spend a little bit of time with me today. If you are new here, welcome. You are very, very welcome here, and I hope that you will like what you see and choose to stick around. I film on a monthly basis, and hopefully, I know those of you who have been around for a while, I've talked about doing live streams for a while, but once I get my kid through Eagle Scout, then maybe I will have a little more free time to turn my attention to that in the winter months, once Eagle Scout and marching band season are done. But I film on a monthly basis. I share my whips, I share my finishes, all the things that I'm working on in our shared hobby of cross stitch. So as I always do, I will start with sharing my September statistics. I know today is Sunday, September 29th, so there is still a day and a half of September left, but this is my best opportunity to film. We just got home from church a little bit ago. Kid has a soccer match this afternoon, so this is my window. So we're gonna roll through this. So let me start by sharing my Notion template. Those of you who are regulars, you know. Those of you who are new, I use the Notion template created by the wonderful Stitchy Nati. She's amazing with Notion. And one of the views that she creates is a monthly view. So I can just click on September 2024 and it pulls in all of my stitching for me. So you can see I was busy this month. The kind of dip in my stitching that happened in August with the start of school and everything like that really kind of turned around in the latter half of this month, partly because I attended a retreat, but also partly just it's starting to get to be fall. I kind of want to just cozy up. It's been a little bit of a stressful couple of weeks with my daughter's Eagle Scout project, and so stitching has been a welcome, I've been reading a lot and I've been stitching a lot. So I had 7 new starts in the month of September, and 2 of those I have also finished. So they were a SAF, a start and a finish. And you can see that I have had 4 finishes, including one, actually, this one is a fully finish, because that is what we finished at the retreat that I went to. So I will share that with you in just a moment. And then over here you can see usually I'm good about entering my stitching every day. Not always though. So sorry, I realize I feel like I'm sitting very high. Let me lower myself a little. So I had 13 unique stitching days in the month of September. Most of my projects were digital charts. So that total stitch count of 2,257 is probably only underestimated by maybe 200 stitches, maybe 300. Because most of my work was on digital charts. Oh, actually, that's not true because this entire chart for the retreat was paper. So it's actually, never mind, I forgot about that one. It's underestimated by probably 700 or 800 stitches. So I probably was approaching 3,000, maybe even slightly over 3,000 stitches so far in the month of September. So those are my numbers. Let's get into showing you what I did. So we'll start with my FFO. So as I mentioned, I attended a retreat this month. This is the Chantelle 141 Pep Rally retreat up in Williamston, Michigan. And every year Chantelle invites a designer to be the guest at the retreat. We pre-stitch one of their patterns that they designed just for the retreat. And then at the retreat, using the amazing wooden boards and ornaments and things that Chantelle creates for her business, we fully finished the project. This year, and I should say this is a retreat I attend with my mom every year. So this is like our little stitchy time together, just the 2 of us, which is super special as well. So this year, the designers were stitching with the Housewives. Don't come at me. I'm not a Stitching with the Housewives fan. One of the beautiful things about cross stitch in this modern world is there is something for everyone, and they're not my cup of tea. So they designed 3 Christmas ornaments. I only stitched 1 because I did want to learn the finishing technique, but nothing against them. They're just not my style. But here is my FFO. So this was the stitched piece, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. This was the one that I liked. The other 2 ornaments, they were too busy for me, they just aren't my style. But I liked this one. And then this was our full finish. So we learned how to mount them on the round sticky board and put on the ornament and do the little bow. And I made a button for the first time, a fabric covered button. Pretty proud of myself. I don't think I'm going to use it as a Christmas ornament because it's like the size of my head. It's ginormous. But I think I'm probably going to just make it a wall hanging and just hang it on my wall somewhere for the holidays. But this is my fully finished object, my FFO. And then I had 2 other finishes in the month of September. Put this somewhere where it's not going to get smooshed. I had 2 other finishes in the month of September. 3 other finishes in the month of September that have not been fully finished yet. And the one is maybe a finish for now. So if you are a regular viewer of my channel, you know that for a while, in fact, it was called in April for Whip Go. I'm doing, in addition to traditional Whip Go, I also created a Whip Go board for starts and finishes, small projects, and I'm challenging myself to start and finish in the month they are called. This was called in the month of April. This is Going Batty. And I was on track to finish it in April, and then I made a big miscount, and it went in timeout for a while. But I'm like, it's now September, and it's time for me to get this finished. This project is by Elizabeth Spurlock of Saving Grace's Fine Needle Arts, and it was in the 2023 Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine. Now, when I say finish for now, all of the stitching is done. So here is my finish. Now the chart calls for red beads, on 2 red beads on each of the bats for their eyes. And I just don't know if I want to do that. I kind of dig them just the way they are. So I'm trying to decide if I want to put a couple beads on or maybe do just a red like French knot. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know, friends and community. Do you like it the way it is? Should I add little beads? Should I try the little French knots? What are your thoughts? But so it's a finish, maybe a finish for now. Or I guess I should say it's a finish for now, maybe a finish if I decide not to add the eyes. So that is the Going Batty Escornu. My next finish was also a call on my Safco board, I believe in the month of August. And that is Christmas Hippo by the Blue Flower. This was a free chart. I think it was the 2022, for the 2022 Jingle Ball, maybe 2023. Pretty sure it was a Jingle Ball free release chart. I stitched this on brown perforated paper that I've had in my stash for, I kid you not, probably 30 years, if not more. And so, yeah, he's going to get cut out, mounted on board and felt, and turned into a Christmas ornament. But he's so cute. I love him. He's adorable. So that is Christmas Hippo by Blue Flower, also finished in the month of September. And then my final finish for the month of September, and it also finishes out the 4 in the series that I chose to stitch, was Inappropriate Cat Zombie by Bad Stitch. So those of you who've been around know she released, Amanda released 6 different Inappropriate Cats last Halloween in 2023. And I chose to stitch 4 of them, and Zombie was the last one called. So here he is. There he is. Very inappropriate with his little zombie hand. I'm actually super happy with how the zombie hand turned out because everything was using the called for colors except for the collar and then the zombie hand, because quite honestly, my bag was still kitted for the last one I did, which was the potion. And so I didn't have any of the green floss called for with the zombie hand in my project bag. And I was just too lazy to go downstairs and pull them. So I actually pulled one of my new starts is Quirky Quaker Turtle. And I had 2 colors of green in there for that chart. I literally just pulled them out and stitched the hand with them. And I think it looks pretty like gross and decomposed. So I'm pretty happy with it. So this is Inappropriate Cat Zombie Hand by Bad Stitch. These were super fun. I don't know if Amanda has released them yet. These were Patreon charts. I don't know if she's released them yet, or they're super cute and super fun to stitch. So now I have all 4 of them done: candy corn, pumpkin, potion, and zombie hand. And now I just have to decide what I'm going to do with them. I think I'm going to either make a bunting with them to go on my fireplace mantle, or make little ornaments out of them, even though I don't have a Halloween ornament tree. So sounds like a perfect excuse to get one. So those are all of my finishes and my one FFO for the month of September. As you saw earlier, I had a whole bunch of new starts in September. Kind of went a little crazy. Some of it was catching up on my new starts board, because I hadn't done most of August either, and still had September's to do as well. So lots of new starts in the month of September. So let's kind of roll into them. Some of them, as I mentioned, were ones I've already finished. So Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I started in September, finished in September. Same with Inappropriate Cat Zombie, started in September and finished in September. Other ones were calls for either my Safco board or my 24 starts in 2024. So let's just kind of roll through and I'll let you know. So these are in no particular order. They are actually probably in the reverse order of when I started them. But one of my new starts was my very first Blackbird designs, and it is Spell of the Moon. Try to avoid the glare there. And this chart was a gift from my friend Babs a couple of years ago. I am stitching this on a hand-dyed piece of Ada from my friend Nessa that was part of a Halloween exchange several years ago. So this is a one-of-a-kind piece of fabric. And here is where I am at so far. So this chart was part of, there we go, oh my Lord, having trouble focusing here today. There we go. So this chart was part of my 24 starts in 2024 call. So my goal for each of these starts is 300 stitches. And this is at about 302, because I actually was counting, even though it's a paper chart, I was counting my stitches for this one. So as I mentioned, this was just a hand-dyed, one-of-a-kind hand-dyed gift from my friend Nessa, and I am stitching, everything here is just with 310, though I did do my own floss conversion for the other colors, which when this comes out again, I will share those at that time. But right now it's all just 310. So that is Spell of the Moon by Blackbird Designs. My next new start is Pumpkin Coach by Tiny Modernist. This was Tiny Modernist's debut Patreon chart. Let me flip over and show you what the finished chart will look like. I think this chart might be available for public purchase now. I honestly haven't paid that much of attention, but I think it is. But absolutely love this chart. It's so cool. I think I'm going to get tired of all the 310, but it's such a fun little chart, and I'm really excited to finally be stitching it. So this, again, was a new start call. So the goal is 300 stitches. I think I have, well, I can tell you how many I have. Just a moment. So I only have 102 stitches in on this so far. I just have spent one day stitching on it. So still have quite a few stitches left to do. And I need to make sure I have it right side up. And I did a middle start on this, and this is where I am at so far. So I started with the coach, right? So this is moving up to the top of the coach itself in the darker orange color of the coach. I am stitching this on 40 count even weave in the color Gray Magic by Bestitch Me, with all of the called for DMC colors. So still about 200 stitches on that left to put in before that goal is met. Next new start, again, I'm saying next in my pile, not in order. This was a Safco call in, I think, September. Safco, again, meaning start and finish. So I was challenging myself to start and finish the project in the month that it's called. Kind of the end of the year is very busy. I'm kind of at this point by December 31st. If I can meet all of my board goals, then I'll be ecstatic. I'm not going to kill myself trying to do it. But it is Cat Hair Don't Care by Dirty Annie Designs. Again, a chart that I had in my stash for probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years. And when I was putting my notion together, getting all my charts in it, was like, I have so many of these small charts. I should just get them stitched. So that is the chart. I started it on September 20th at the Pep Rally Retreat. I am stitching it on a 40 count even weave. This is Honey by Stitch Me. And here's where I am so far. Hold on. That's a very large needle minder for a very small chart. But here's where I am so far. So as you can see, I was working on getting the outline of the cat done because then I can just fill in. So probably another 2 or 3 days of focused attention on this, and this one will be done. But that is Cat Hair Don't Care, or Cat Hair I think is actually the name of the chart. But and again, that's on a 40 count even weave in the color Honey from Stitch Me. I am stitching it with just my own floss conversion as part of my Black Cat X Stitchery project bag subscription. She used to include, she used to curate charts and things like that from other shops and things of that sort. And one of her bags had this sampling of floss in it. It was actually for, I think, maybe a Grinch pattern. Yeah, I think. No, the green is called Grinch. Never mind. I don't know what they were for. But they are from Farmhouse Flossies and Such, which is a dyer I'd never heard of before, but I am using the gray and the blue in this cat hair chart. They're really nice flosses. So again, that's Farmhouse Flossies and Such. They're on Etsy. So that is cat hair. My next new start, again, for my board. This one was just a new start call because it's not huge, but it's definitely more than I can finish in a month. This is by Little Stitch Girl. It is the Gatekeep-purr. So cute. So this was a new start. I have still have to finish this one too. I only have stitched on this for one day as well and have about 126 stitches in it. Oh my Lord, and there's floss everywhere. Please hold. Good grief. Okay. Oh, and a hanging thread because I apparently did not finish off the thread that I was on. So I started in the bottom left and am working on the brick wall that is there in the bottom left. This is being stitched on 32 count Lugana in the color Pink Chocolate by Stitch Me, and I'm using all the called for DMC colors. So still have about 175 stitches on this to put in before that goal is met. And then finally, just last night, I started my next start and finish goal, and that is, here's the chart, Quirky Quaker Turtle by Darling and Whimsy Design. These little guys are so fun and stitch up so quickly. I am doing my own floss conversion on this. I just chose 2 kind of greens from my stash, and they are from my friend Jamie from Wonderland Hand-Dyed Fabrics, the color Mock Turtle, which is kind of like a bluish, greenish gray. I'm using this for the simple border and the shell of the turtle. And then a more sort of traditional green, this is a Treenway Silks color Rosemary, is the other color that I'm using for the turtle's legs and face and sort of other motifs around the border. And as I said, I just started this last night. It does still have an unfinished thread on it, but I got a pretty decent start. Let me get the thread out of the way as best I can. But it's still in the hoop because I literally was working on it last night, and we'll probably go back to it this afternoon before my son's soccer game. So the shell blends in a little bit with the fabric. This is 32 count Lugana in the color Water Nymph from Stitch Me. I used to be part of Stitch Me's fabric club, which is why I have so much Stitch Me fabric. But yeah, I think it's going to look really good, especially once I get the other greens in too. But that is my last new start for the month of September. All right, let's get into whips. I don't have a bunch of them. I'm really just spending so much of my time on my starts and finishes and the project for the retreat that I think only have 3 whips to share progress on. And all 3 of them were ones that I stitched on for maybe an hour or so during the retreat. And so the progress is pretty small on these as well, but I'll still show them anyway. So first one is the Dragons and Apples Sal. Which I forgot to pull up the picture of it. It is by Quaternion Creations and was a stitch along in, I want to say 2022 at this point. Not 100% sure on that, but I think that's right. And I have so much left to do on it still, but we'll get there. And we'll talk about that a little bit when I get into my plans as well. I'm starting to think about what I want to do next year, but let me go ahead and cut over. This is what the finished chart will look like. So it, like I said, it was a mystery stitch along that, like, I'm pretty sure it was 2022 that it came out. So I am stitching this with my own floss conversion of Dinky Dye Silks. This was my first chart where I decided to treat myself to silks. I had always just stitched with cotton. And so this is the color palette that I chose. So I did stick with the called for, right? The black and the red and the gray, but then I added in this variegated black and purple just because I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And you'll see I am using that on the exterior borders of the chart. And then with everything else, I'm following the called for of black and red and gray. And here is, let me see if I have a shot of where I was before on this. I don't think that I do. I need to get better about, actually I do, pardon me. Let me cut back over. So here's a picture of where this chart was the last time I worked on it, which is what it would have looked like in my last video when I showed it as, one of my September calls. And I worked on it, like I said, for about an hour and a half at the retreat, and this is where I am now. So I have mostly finished this, oh, good grief. I've mostly finished this egg down here. I'm gonna tell you what, this only filming once a month, I'm out of practice on holding my stuff up. So yeah, I came close to finishing this other egg down here. So yeah, I love this chart so much. I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana in the color Portobello. Yes, Portobella, not Portobello. Portobella, again, by Bestitch Me. And this is the Dragons and Apples Sal by Quaternion Creations. I really love Maria's charts. They're so whimsical and so fun. I own 3 or 4 of them now at this point. And I have many more that I would like to get someday, but that is Dragons and Apples Sal. I really, really love this chart. I really want to spend more time with it. Okay, next whip is the Needleworker by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I do not have a picture of where this was the last time I worked on it, but here is the chart. So if you'll recall, this was part of their, I think this was the first of their Snowmen series that they did in 2023. Or actually, I guess they started releasing in the fall of 2022 and ran through the fall of 2023. This was a what is that called? Why am I blanking what that's called? New Year's, New Starts. Or no, 12, this was part of the 12 hour, the one where you stitch in like a new project every hour in the 12 hours leading up to New Year's Eve. I don't know why I'm blanking on what that's called. I did it one year and I haven't done it since then and probably won't do it again, or at least not for quite a while because the last thing I need are more new starts. I could pick whips. I'm rambling. Here's the floss palette. I am stitching it with all of the called for flosses. And here is where my project is now. So all I worked on at the retreat was more of this bag fill in. So before the retreat, the dark red of the bag was really kind of even with this lighter red over here. So everything up here I added in. This was one of my Whip Go calls for the month of September. So I think I probably need to put maybe like one more strand in. For my paper charts, it is 300 stitches or 3 days. So I've only worked on it for 1 day, but I did put probably 150 stitches in. So if I do 1, maybe 2 more strands, that probably gets me over 300. And then my final whip to share with you all today was my other September Whip Go call. And that is my one and only full coverage chart. He's adorable. He's going to make me crazy. But this is Drake Warrior Kitty from Cross Stitch Studio. This project was 10,000% enabled by Jen, the backcountry stitcher, because she stitched him and finished him. And every time she showed him, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need that little boy in my life. He's so fuzzy and so cute, and his little face is just adorable. But I am not a full coverage stitcher at all. But I caved, and I'm stitching him, and I almost don't want to show this to you because it's so pathetic how much I have done. So I still have about 200 stitches I have to get in to meet my 300 stitch goal. But I have such a teeny tiny little baby start in the upper left corner. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Monaco, 1 strand over 1, because I don't want it to be super huge. I am doing full cross, and I am using the smallest needle I can find that isn't a beading needle, and it's hard, like finishing off my threads and things like that. I don't know. And because I'm not a full coverage stitcher, like I'm not parking my threads, that I know that would make my brain crazy. So I am kind of just picking a color, and I'm just kind of stitching until the thread runs out, and going from there. So I know this is very exciting to look at, but I started in the upper left corner. You all are enthralled, aren't you? The most fascinating thing of my whole video. So that's Drake Warrior Kitty. I do want to work on him more too as well, but it takes focus and concentration to work on him. Fortunately, it's a digital chart, which helps. All right, that is all of the stitching that I have to share with you. I hope you enjoyed that. I have some acquisitions, and then I figured I'd talk a little bit about my October plans. So as I mentioned, I did attend the Chantelle 141 Pep Rally Retreat, and it's a smaller retreat, but did get a few things there that I wanted to share. This is the rest of my ornament making stuff, which since I only made the one of the 3, I've got leftovers for other things. So the first thing I wanted to share was there was a freebie table at the retreat. And so I did pick up a couple of things off the freebie table. So one of the things there was this project bag. I don't know why someone was getting rid of it. It's in great shape. The zipper works. I guess they just didn't want it anymore. But I thought it was super cute. And like, who doesn't need a wintry chickadee and cardinal laden project bag? So I snatched that little boy up. And took that. Then I also got, I don't know if I will stitch these, but they're so cute. And as any cross stitcher will tell you, chart collecting is a separate hobby. But they're really cute. I like the little pumpkin one, little peekaboo. But that was also on the freebie table. And Chantelle had at all of our spaces this fun little tree standing up. So people were using it to hold their charts, their phones, their iPads. Very cute. So this is what Chantelle does. If you're not familiar with Chantelle's 141, her business, she laser cuts wood and does all kinds of backing boards and things to fully finish your stitching, which is pretty awesome. And then of course people were giving out floss cards and things like that. I won't show you all of those things. But then there also was a small vendor table, and I did get it's also holding a bunch of my stuff from the retreat. So, but I did end up purchasing from Farmhouse Needleworks this adorable project bag. Look at those black cats. They're so cute. And what's funny is I'm pretty sure that I have another Halloween project bag that has the same fabric on the back. So they're going to confuse me. But this is Farmhouse Needleworks. It has a little pumpkin, little jack-o'-lantern charm on the zipper. And so she makes project bags, and then she also makes little project keepers that go with them. So a little zippered pouch. So she didn't have one that wholly coordinated, so I mixed and matched. But I love this fabric too. So the little zippered pouch and the little felt thing, for your orts over here, a little felt to hold your needle, a little ring for your floss, your scissors, or whatever. And then she also was selling these little what are these called? Cabochons with, I'm trying to avoid the glare. It says Black Cat Society. So of course I had to get that too with floss drops. So this was really kind of my big purchase at the retreat in terms of goodies for myself. And then the last acquisition in the last month was my Black Cat X Stitchery quarterly project bag. Sorry, those are all the floss cards and other things that people were giving out. So as I mentioned, I am a member of Tiffany's quarterly project bag club. And she just does, as I mentioned, quarterly. They're seasonal, so it'll be kind of spring, summer, autumnal, winter. And here is her project bag for this autumn. It's so cool. Look at all those pumpkins and the cool blue trucks. Her Tiffany's project bags are wonderful. They're nicely sort of padded and quilted. The vinyl is really good. And the club is very reasonably priced. You get a needle minder, you get the bag, and then you get a little ort holder as well that all coordinate. So that was my final acquisition for the month of September. All right, all that I have left to chat about are my plans for the month of October. And really, I'm still going with my 3 boards. I'm using Jessie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff, her Whipco calls for all 3 of my boards. And so I will show you what was called for the month of October. I'm obviously still playing quite a lot of catch up from August and September, but happy to share with you what I'll be adding to the mix in terms of October. So first, starting with new starts, my 24 starts in 2024. My 2 new starts called in September were Stitch All the Things by Erica Michaels. I am stitching the pincushion. And I will be stitching this on 32 count Lugana in the color Ledger by Bestitch Me with all of the called for DMC colors. My next new start call for the month of October was part of the Cottage Garden Samplings Hearts for Pam. Sorry, I have several charts in here. I'm trying to find the right one. The Hearts for Pam box that they did earlier this year. And this is the Blue Flowers Seasons of the Heart. Hearts for Pam. So Seasons of the Heart was a series that Jeanette did. And Hearts for Pam is what this one is called. And I forget the name of the color of this fabric. I will look it up and when I show you my next video, but it's just a lovely blue. I purchased this at the 141 retreat last year, so I do know this is a Fabrics by Stephanie fabric. I just don't recall the name of the color, but I will either put it on the screen or I will share it with you in my next video. So that will be my other new start call for the month of October. And again, it is 3 days or 300 stitches. All right, next up, my start and finish goals for the month of October. So the first one is a Bendy Stitchy chart called Be the Nonsense, or Nonsense is what it's called. And this is what it will look like. This was a Patreon chart originally. I think it might be available for purchase now. But this is, yes, I'm going to be stitching it on Coconut Shell by Bestitch Me. And, oh, hold on. How about I cut back over so you can actually see the fabric? But Coconut Shell by Bestitch Me is what this will be stitched on with all the called for DMC. And again, the goal for this one will be to finish it in the month of October. So start and finish. And then yeah, there it is. I wasn't seeing the chart in there for a second. And then my other start and finish call is a Lizzie Kate chart, Collect Moments. There we go. So again, the goal is to start and finish this in the month of October. That one should be super easy to do because it's very mostly words. And I kind of went different on this one. I believe I'm using the called for flosses, but I went dark with the fabric. So these are the called for flosses. And I'm going to stitch it on this sort of, oh, that is really washing out. It's almost like a dark denim blue. That's a little more true to color. It's like a grayish blue. And I think this was literally just an old fabric in either my or my mom's stash, so I don't even know if I know what it is, but that is Collect Moments. And then finally, my Whip Go calls for the month of October, I'm actually kind of excited about, and for a variety of reasons, mostly because somewhat spookily, they are highly appropriate for the month of October. So the first is Lola Crow's Haunted Library. I didn't pull up the picture, but I feel like everyone knows what it looks like now. I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana. I will have to put it on the screen. I'm blanking on the color. But here is where I am at. I was on top of this at first and then it all fell apart. So I still have thousands upon thousands of stitches in this project to put in. But I love this chart and I really do want to get it done. But this is where I'm at so far. And again, I'll be adding at least 300 stitches to it as part of my Whip Go goal. So that was my first call, very appropriate for October. And then my second Whip Go call, also very appropriate for October, given that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The call was Praiseworthy Stitches, Simple Gifts, Courage. This was part of the Pam's Survival Sal, but I am also a breast cancer survivor. And so this chart was meaningful for me as well. I started stitching this at StitchCon in 2023 and haven't stitched it since then. So this was my very, very sad little start on it. But I have digitized the chart. So hopefully this stitching will go much faster once I get into it. So again, the goal will be to add 300 stitches or stitch on it for 3 days. And that is my other October call. So again, feel very motivated to stitch on it, in part because I love the chart and I want to finish it, but also this weekend was the 8th year anniversary of my diagnosis, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So kind of doubly motivated to stitch on that. And then I have a maybe plan, and I would ask for y'all's opinion on it, but I know we're all a bunch of enablers. So there will be some of you who are sane and reasonable who will say, no, Heather, you just showed us all of those things that you have to work on and you're behind on your other goals. Don't start another SAL that you won't keep up with anyway, because I have yet to keep up with the SAL. But I did show in my last video the Teresa Kogut Hello Halloween pattern book that I purchased. There's a SAL starting on October 1st of this chart. Natalie of Britches Got Stitches, or Natasha Tasha of Britches Get Stitches was like, you should stitch this with us. So I might. I shouldn't. But, you know, when do reason and logic ever play in to cross-stitch plans? We'll see. So this is a maybe plan for October. We'll see if logic and common sense prevail or if FOMO does. That's it. The last thing on my stitching list was wanted to talk briefly about starting to think about plans for 2025. I am definitely not doing 3 Whip Go boards again. And I think I might actually take a break from Whip Go. I do enjoy it, but I think I might take a break from Whip Go. What I'm thinking about doing is creating decision wheels. One of projects that I think with, you know, a month or less of kind of focused effort, I could finish. And then another with 12, maybe more, maybe 24 whips that I just want to get some good work in. This year has definitely been like stitch all the things. I'm working on 6 or more projects every month, and it's been just like kind of barely organized chaos. And it's been fun, but it definitely is I'm feeling the charts piling up on me now, the whips and things like that piling up on me. So I'm thinking maybe 2025 is the year of the whips, right? And I kind of make that list of ones that I think I might be able to finish, and then sort of let fate decide one that I'll stitch until it's done, and then I'll pick a different one. And then at the same time have 1 or 2 other whips going, because I am rarely able to focus on just one project for more than a few days. Then I kind of want to change things up. So I'm curious, what are you thinking about? Are you kind of already starting to think about 2025? Would love to hear what you're doing. If there are, especially if you are a regular viewer of my channel, is there a project that you really want to see me finish in 2025? Maybe I'll put it on that wheel. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see me work on in 2025, because I'm starting to loosely think about those things. That is all I have for you today in terms of stitching, friends. So if that's all you're here for, have a fabulous rest of your day. Feel free to move on to your next Flosstuber. Take care of yourself and happy stitching. If you'd like to hear what I've been reading, watching, and playing, which is sort of the other piece of my video, I'm going to jump into that really quickly. It'll be pretty short because we've been so busy lately. So let me kick the easy one out first. That is, what have I been playing? Nothing. I have not been playing video games. I played like an hour of Stardew Valley like a week ago. And otherwise, I have not been playing video games this week, or this month, I mean. Just hasn't been happening. Have been reading a lot, have been watching quite a bit. So in terms of the watching, again, if you have been here for any length of time, you know that my family is a big anime family. It's most of what we watch. Right now, we are super big into Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime, and you would think we were watching the Olympics every time we watch this show. We get so into these fictional characters and their matches, and all of their goals and all the things, their ambitions. It's a very well-made anime, and very wholesome and entertaining, and very good. So Haikyuu has definitely been a huge thing that we've been watching. We had been watching the Boruto anime. We've kind of taken a break from it. We came back to it yesterday and have decided we're gonna skip all the filler, which means we'll move through it very fast now because most of Boruto is filler. But using that as a transition into what I have been reading, I did start reading the Boruto manga, and it is so much better. Now I understand why people who read the manga don't like the anime. And I won't get into the why because you're here for cross stitch and you probably really don't care. But I have been reading, like blowing through the manga. I have read like 11 volumes in the last like week and a half. If you've ever read manga, I mean, a volume you can sit and read in one sitting if you have a couple hours free. So it's not like insane that I've read 11 volumes in the last week or two, but I've definitely been reading it pretty heavily. I also finished the Ember and the Ashes series that I have been reading for the past few months by Sabaa Tahir. The last one was, oh shoot, what was it called? The Reaper in the Sky, I think it was what it was called. Anyway, incredibly good series. I mean, it's classified as young adult, but the books made me cry. They made me laugh. They made me angry. Like, I cared about these characters. The world development was good. If you have not read the series and you like, I would call it, it's not high fantasy like Lord of the Rings, but it is, it reminded me a little bit of Lord of the Rings in the sense that it was, real, what felt real in terms of the way civilization and society worked, kind of loosely based on the Roman Empire. But then there also were fantastical elements, ifrits and jinns and things of that sort. So there were these sort of magical, fantastical elements as well. But it was sort of this very large, kind of global, very smart, engulfing world and story. I really, really enjoyed them. I'm actually thinking about purchasing them so that I can have them on my shelves and read them kind of whenever I want. So we'll see. So that I also read that and finished that. And I think that's it. In terms of other things we've been watching, like I said, it's been a lot of Haikyuu anime this month. I have also been watching the new season of Survivor, which started. And yeah, that's probably about it. It's been so busy, we've really not been watching much television. It's football season now, too. So we're either at high school football games for my daughter's marching band or I'm watching the Buckeyes. Yeah. I guess that's it for me today, friends. I hope that you are all doing well. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. I know time is valuable and precious, and I'm really grateful that you choose to spend some of it with me. I'd love to know in the comments what you worked on, if you were stitching while you were watching, what you're working on, what you'd love to see me finish in 2025, any plans you're thinking of for 2025, and really just anything you want to share with me. That's it for me today. I will end as I always do. Hug your loved ones, take care of yourself, and happy stitching. See you soon. Bye.